I was born in Chicago, it was police everywhere. Before you out there, the whole block got you up. You have to take all of us. Because there ain't no guarantee he's coming back. Again, you'll live the same way. Really the same way. Or we really was from East Birthday many years ago. We experienced it too. Some else we people got it. Bumble cake. Oh no. Well, we can name it. But then we keep on out the line and name it. But you know, when we put in the office, so we follow it.
We want to create an environment. They need that. The reality is that there's so many cops out here still left out with so many people. They don't even tell most of the time. The problem with those classes is they hold these classes in our community telling us, okay, this is the reason why we have to stop off your people. But what they don't tell you is that non-stop that attention, they're coming at you illegally. They're coming at you, they're not asking, telling you right at this moment, telling you they're not, the right precinct doesn't have the right and the jurisdiction to even become up to you. There's so many things that they need in these meetings, and there's so many questions that they want answered. How are people being mobilized and there's no answer to? It's like, why don't these community classes offer that as well? Where is the responsibility for that? But they don't tell us that. What they're telling us is, this is the excuse, this is what we want you to do. We want you to lay back and take it. And that's what these classes are doing. They're pacifying our people. And that's why it's important for us to realize, all right, we want more than just the cops telling us why they're hitting on us. We want to demand that to change. We want to see that change in the community. You know, and what it has to take is building that form of organization. It's having that organization. And we have to realize that we are not going to go with this.
Getting 50 people together at one time, stand up and sort of thing. That just told me, you know what I'm saying? That just told me the story. Because I everlasting humanity, you know that, right? Because I said, how might I call you shortly? You know, you came in things, you stayed with shortly. You ain't participated in nothing that we give you sense. So how about I just call you shortly?
You go.
Shortly. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I'm listening to him now, short-lived. No, that's like everything he just said.
Hey, yo, but everything, the reason why my arm is like this is because of him. When I came out of the precinct, I said, yo, God, them niggas are going to try to kill me. I said, all I need is guns.
Yeah, hold on, let me know.
He got me so bad, so fucking, I walked away and left. And I left, went down Alabama, and as soon as I hit the middle of the block, they ran up on me. Wham, get it. Now they had me. I was in the middle of the block. I couldn't do nothing. Excuse me, important thing first. Sam. Police don't fuck with you, but like my side. Big lines, they look twice when they look at me, they say, nah, they think it's too big. You look too strong for us to mess with. We never harass them. They go to the small person like you and Sean. They ain't gonna mess with me. Now let's there you go. I was here on the class one day, right? Hang on. Remember? Last week. She had slides. You talk, you know. That's two slides right there. I was. They were told they would do something on the rock and do one. Yeah, I go. but the other brother went there, snatched him up, we go there and said, come on. So we went over there, right there. We got there yesterday, right? Yesterday we got there, right? Cold as hell. So they had to fight out there and everything. As soon as I got there, she gave me the money, right? She gave me the money. Everybody, I was doing my little thing, you know what I'm saying? I said, we get these ones that change the name. I was simply trying to not be too boisterous or militant. I didn't want to inject my stick in their program. So I finished doing my thing, right? And what am I? How could I have goddamn Black Panther party rally? She went, you heard her speak just now, right? Now, you know she was doing that thing, and she had a mic, and she was dropping piano. So the shit happened in the community, these white police, loud as hell, and these white police keep doing it to all people, and we standing for it. Oh shit! I ain't at a Black Panther party rally. Then after her, Anna Marie, right? Well, we get up to her. Before we get there, you know what I'm saying? And bingo, she got on the mic. Part 2. I said, oh shit, come over here trying to curve my shit. That's what don't do too militant. And I ended up with 2 thugs. I said, oh shit. I thought, God, they reminded me. Seriously. They reminded me, like back in the days, Black Panther Party, when the sisters used to get away and talk, like they used to talk. And you know how back then they was just Panther Party.
And today,
Yeah, and they, I know Diane Jenkins, a label from the ones from out here in Brownsville, they used to go off. You know, and they there you go, we talk about short living. Say that again? Short living. And the last week, he said, keep on going and going and going. Short living is what? You hear, that's an amazing thing. You will make peace. I'm glad you did. You will keep the name everlasting, right?
We from that.
We talk about it. Yeah? This shot. Everlasting.
But you know, there's a lot more of us. You know, I can't name them, but I see their flags or whatever. If I get around and say, I live right around the corner.
I'm glad you put that up. You just love the call, and you'll navigate you know? So last week, I started answering this call. But he said, why you want to call on them? I said, we want something that's funny. You can ask me a question. But I never see you at one out.
When you get it.
You know what I'm saying? I said, man, all of our school, we 18 of them guys. You don't know strength and gates. That's not wrong. One or two good ways, that's not wrong. It's a lot of people that do. You understand? But not only that, you got certain things that involve your nation. Your nation. You never been born. I don't want to see it in the head of the so with the head down, everything else out too. You know, it's funny because it's going to be a time when we won't have to go back to the way you used to. And I don't think that you're ready for that. Because we do have to say so who we should accept and who we don't want to accept. You know, especially in this day and time. Because things are critical in there. You got to watch out for your babies. You understand? Because you don't know who's who. You don't know who's who. Our baby goes to school and we don't even ask, do you know the teacher's name? You don't know the teacher's name. We don't know what type of education you're giving out your baby. You understand? Because the baby get too hot, they give them certain medication. They start to be so late. You understand? We don't know it because we don't think about it. It's unimportant to us. Because all we think about is a round profit and a paycheck. So when you cut your paycheck, you're set home. But you got something to check. You understand? It don't bounce out. You see what I mean? It don't bounce out. You understand? You got to be versatile on all levels. You got to be versatile. You know, I don't only talk math to a lot of people. I talk math to teachers. I show them certain things. I bring certain books so you can read. I read this girl a book on my job. The Message to the White Man and the White Woman under the origin white supremacy by Dr. Blake. Now she's a white woman. And she couldn't understand how Allah Muhammad used to call white people. And she was highly upset. But at the time she was married to a black man who was a Muslim, unrealized teacher. So when she started traveling and going to different parts of the world, she said she was being discriminated because of her beautiful intelligence. So now she said, Allah is right in his there. Because if my own people do that to me, I can imagine what other people do. That's not of my agenda. So her giving back to the people was writing that book. You see what I'm saying? And I pass that on to other people so because everybody believes that y'all was there. They don't know he's an active man, a living man. You see what I'm saying? Because they already know they're from what the little world they had in tune. They didn't heard about it. They never heard about it on an open scale.
When a white person tells them that,
Yeah, see, because when they say it, it's a different effect. Even when I'm on, you come tell us something, it's in line. But when a white man come tell us, it's not a witness to you. You understand what I'm saying? They like the poison. You understand? So you gotta know how to be versatile in this world today. You understand? A lot of brothers are not opportunities. Everybody says that's happening a lot of stuff. If you don't know how to say, especially God, he's waiting to learn how to do it. We're never going to change say that I don't know. That's not intelligent. And that's what we do about we have pride. We let our pride and we got intelligence. Because if I don't know so long as you don't, I don't know about that. Break that down. You'll give you a better understanding of that. See, when we was talking about I3, that was acceptable. But this generation you have, declining. You understand what I'm saying? Declining with that. And a lot of times, man, the parents don't even teach the child how to convert. You know what I'm saying? Education starts at home. Education does not start outside of home. It starts in the home. You know what I'm saying? So when that child walk out there, he will be well equipped to deal with the world on whatever level they may come at him at. You know what I'm saying? All the time about daughter. Keep your gun before you know it, baby. I ain't talking no pistol, I'm talking this shit. Keep it fully loaded. Because when you got to get fully loaded, you look back at anybody. Anybody, you can stop in this track and make it a thing. and make him think. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's why I've been grounded so long. My thing always stay grounded in the ground. If you stay grounded in the ground, you shake your foundation. But if you're not grounded in the ground, then you shake your world. You see what I'm saying? My job is not to set the character on any black man, woman, or child. My job is to enhance your understanding.
That's good.
To make you see a clear picture. Because your focal point then be a little cloudy day to be your fly tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? That's how we run. That's how we run.
Like you said about parents, that's their responsibility. Like you said, they don't know they teach. They don't know who's teaching their kids. They're like sandguards. Sandguards, they're all gonna shut up at this damn. You can see how he got his baby in the Lord now. It's early to teach, qualified. They know who the children to teach are. You got to be involved with your children. Who's teaching? I want to be your teacher. You know, get to know them. But that knows what I'm doing. Sam wants to make sure that he knows who the hell feeds his daughter that lunch they got in school. He wants to know what are they feeding her. He stops at the time to eat. So he has to be supposed to eat. One time she had that subject grade, he didn't know what it was. She always said that she rich. You know, but then sometimes she said she wanted to go to school. So then he went down there and found out they got 2 different sets of menus. You know? Now little kids get the same food. You know? You know, in this day and time, you don't eat no pork. You know? You were a fancy and they asked you to be more. You be more. You know what I'm saying? But they know. This day and time, a lot of people, in this day and time, a lot of people ain't even eating meat. Because you know they got to be particular about that pork. They can't feed them anything to be bathed in their food. And you don't point with that. You know, that's like you said. And you got to be responsible for their children. And we got to be responsible for these babies, even they our kids. We are responsible. We say we know. We got knowledge. We know better than the average person walking down the street. We got a high degree of knowledge and information about what's everything around us. We're not gullible. You know what I'm saying? People can't tell me some average broken conversation. I'm not gullible. I can even think for myself. Ain't no Arabs did they shit. Ain't no Arabs got the intelligence or education or the technology to come to this country, steal 5 planes, ride around all of that technical or radar all of the nonsense, and decide where their targets are. And I'm talking about terrorists that are so sophisticated that they can fly a plane in building number 1 and building number 2 and make building number 7 to 4. Those are damn good terrorists. You know? They executed that white boy for the Oklahoma State office federal building. He blew it up. He ran a truck outside the building and blew it up. But all the beams were bent out. In other words, the explosion didn't come outside, and then put the beams in, the beams were bent out. Meaning the explosion was inside the building. He got arrested, and he got executed for that. But they knocked down that building so fast, they made sure that information didn't get out. They knew. They blew up that building, they damn self. Just like they blew up the World Trade Center. The plane hit the top of the building, you see explode on the 3rd floor and the 5th floor. You see it one day on the news, and oh, you don't see it no more. Unless they do, like if you're gonna make videos, certain videos that are out that people can make about the World Trade Center. And you get information like that. basis. We in worse condition than in the 60s. More people are unemployed. More people are locked up. But less people are rebelling. Less people are rebelling. Everybody's sitting there, Lord save Savior, and do nothing. You can't even get them to get out of the corner. What are you rebelling? They don't say nothing. We out there, ain't nobody out there. What? We ain't got no babies out there in Brownsville, not per se as individuals, but yet we out there. We out there. So my point is, they're your babies. Your babies. And you sit and watch from the windows while we protest the disrespect that they issue on us.
You know something? Even when we were talking about all the schools, they were shutting down. Hey, you go to certain things, we didn't want to support that. You know, these are like people. You know what I'm saying? You know, if we support the things that support our neighborhoods, then we can't become good. But we don't support. We don't support. You got to support because you know, you don't follow the law, man, and don't oppose the forces that are opposing us.
That will play a little game where he'll see as you come out with the little things. And then he'll increase it as you go, and then this way he knows what you're already gonna do. We say we predict this 25,000 years in advance, but we're supposed to know this, but the people who carry a certain circumstance, act according to it, then they can predict what they're gonna do in the next day. So if they do something small, if we don't come out to schools where our children are being trained, no, you're not gonna come out with the cops beating you down. You're not coming out.
Which means you're not on your own track.
Exactly. So no, you're not coming out for that neighbor that you see out there. But you're gonna feel, and you know the old saying, they come to you today, they tomorrow. And that's what a lot of people start thinking. If I say something, then they're coming at me tomorrow. But if you don't say nothing, they're coming at you anyway, because you didn't say it.
Anyway.
You didn't say
You're
it.
not your life, dog. You got to think on how to do sacrifice.
That's it.
And it's like, not a sacrifice means you can make it so like this. You know what I'm saying? You got to be afraid. They're afraid of the sacrifice. Somebody, you know how many people that die and sacrifice their life for me to make it today?
Hell it is. Probably here today because they really know they ain't.
A lot of people, man. And I don't have to go young age. I been one time all these from years old. And God didn't like Martin Luther King. So they was that they want to kill. You know, all the things, every black person was competent. Every black person.
You like it or not.
Did you like it or not? And they were open eyes to certain people. That told me not to be violent. Oppressive. In my own person.
I was like that too.
You too, bro.
I didn't like Martin Luther King first.
Me neither.
And it took me a few years to get over it. You know what? That nigga, he was, you know what? He kind of bad. Because you was stabbing them old ladies that was with us. You know, you laughing, oh, hell, I want to fight back. But then, a person that can get their ass whipped, let the dog sick of them, and they don't do nothing because they have to keep peace.
And he come back tomorrow?
And come back the next day to get it done again.
What do you think about? Don't go with that.
That's power there.
Yeah, that's how.
That's power. And Martin Luther King said, man, listen, we would have had good friends. You know what I'm saying? But we can't fight back.
But what about this country around? But that conversation was not. That conversation was not. Give me a new outlook. Because he had a new outlook.
Yeah.
He had a new outlook. And because he had a new outlook, made you like, I like you a little more now.
They don't want to put them specifically made out there.
Sometimes, you know, that's what it takes.
Continuation, but moving
You
forward.
go to a crowd after. Because you call it after, you need to just turn it on.
Word of God. So they can have to use my point, though.
he was assassinated.
Right.
And it's like, here we get to see now him glorified, see him on the stand, posters, and we get to celebrate MLK Day. But the reality is that he was taken down purposely. And that was no mistake, because he really started to talk about, really organize with our people. And he started to do that, he started to talk about that. And not just after it, just peace and all that.
Right.
That's when he became a threat. Because he was a threat to the status quo. Just like they did now.
Because that was what it was. It was a government conspiracy. The government conspiracy was to destroy you. And if you didn't destroy me, then no one else would step up. See, that's what they do. If they find one person who's powerful and
Kill the head.
and they can knock you off and nobody else is going to pull your feet, then so should it be. You understand? That's why when you resisting like that, you got to train somebody else. You got to have a replacement. You got to back up team. You understand? You say, Mama, I'm not the representative. Who's going to take my place when I'm not here? You understand? So you send 2 or 3 other people to do that. Because you know it's coming. Because you know he's the devil. You know who he is. He killed everything you don't understand. He killed everything you don't understand. Whether it be a mental death or a physical death. You understand? He'll kill you. So before he gets the thing, I'm going to have you a little army. Right. Nigga.
Teach everybody what you know.
You understand? Look, if you go across these third world countries and you see how these little kids are always military, physically.
Physically babies killing people.
They're always military physically, man, to kill them. You understand? We ain't nowhere close to that. But they don't have the intelligence that we have.
Right.
And so it feels. Okay, we're saying? But if they had the intelligence that we have, it'd be dangerous, man. You understand what I'm saying? So many people would have died. But they killed them like that, right? And they would have sacrificed their body for it, bro. You understand? That's why we got to be more aware of that.
I can keep this here now. Like the same kid.
I heard one say that, while y'all were playing with basketball, I was playing with that shit.
Yeah.
And when he said it, he said, you don't want to jump to this, you may want to stay on the bench. I said, oh, that's deep. And this was a young kid that made
He was a baby.
13 years old.
Look,
They were babies. They were babies at wars. Walking around with machine guns. Tan shit.
You're a part of your mind.
And now they out here. Now they in the middle.
Yeah, you're a part of your mind. They just like when they did that 9/11. They knew what's coming. Because the man was pre-warned. He warned them before he did what he did. Yeah. That's how they do. They don't care nothing about you.
They don't care about their own people.
No, he is a number. That's all you do. A number. The less people you worry about.
Yeah. Arrest that fellow, be he black, brown, or yellow. Even some white trash,
And
you
you know,
know.
when they know they do it, they stay far away from it. That's why you know in the military, they don't want 6 people in one group. You got to be three.
Greek, yeah, you can't have more than
If
6.
you got 6 people,
That's right.
they call that conspiracy. A conspiracy is all out of organization or policy that the continent cohesion we give us. The Pope saw told me that I was a threat. I said, "Right, who he was?"
You are a threat.
No, you need to know what it is. You need to know what it is. And I'm that person. Because the threat is the one who walk around the room. That's a threat. I said, how many people don't plant something they sell and say they did that? Or put a shake in the man's cell. Put some drugs in the man's cell. I mean, the whole people on there. And then we go on top. I give you no more equipment than you are. And then they, see what they do, man. They use our home to get to us. You understand? I told a black sister one day, I said, so you should. I'm black is like you, that's why you're not here. You're not here. You're here, but you're not here. See what you're trying to say? I'm saying on the word, when you came into that government, that system, they brainwashed.
how they want to protect and perform. And if you don't perform where they want to, you will be on the floor. Correct. And they'll be rich. You'll be on the floor.
Okay, that's the police mentality. Okay, so let's go there.
What's that?
Because if you was, you were in that system, and you could have changed the mindset of that system if you were all black.
That's a true thing.
You know what I'm saying? If you was all black, you would necessarily change the mindset of that society.
He's doing that with the flyer. That's what I thought. Maybe what would stop a little bit of harassment is if we had more original people on the force itself. But I also understand that to use the whole, say, birds and feathers flock together, that as you said, once you get in a position like that, you start adapting and you become brainwashed.
Yeah.
Where you start seeing every black man walking that street having a threat too. But you know, the reality of it is, all it takes is one to run up on you one time. You're looking at people like that because you have fear of your own life. So I understand when cops are walking the street and they have a fear in them about the things that they see, then that just means that they haven't been accustomed to the society that they're trying to play bad cards. When you get in that society, you start when you start hanging out with brothers, you start seeing something a little different. Then you come into a neighborhood, damn, you don't like to run to people when you see them. You understand what it is that you see. You understand that sometimes when you see a brother running down the street, he doesn't mean that he always committed a crime. Sometimes you just running down the street. Yeah, exactly. Going to help mommy get a shopping cart. It could be anything.
A labor work.
Anything. But when they see it coming, when you train a man to automatically think negative, even when he sees something good, his first thought goes to negative. So when he sees something that may be good, his first thought is negative, and he starts producing that thought. I hate to say it, but I like Law and Order. When I watch Law and Order, I like to watch these detectives where they automatically assume that you're guilty, and they have every reason why you did this. This is why you did this. And then it turns out that you didn't do it at all, and you bypass that part. They never even talk about that. Come on. You just had every reason why you accused this person of doing it. You had it all mapped out. This is what you did. This is when you did it. When he turns up innocent. Now, how do you feel about you? So that means that you projected that on every man and woman that you meet. You put them in that scenario where they're guilty. Now, universal bid, you just have to be at that place at that time. Now, you the one when you know, no, I ain't have nothing to do with this at all. But just because you'll think negative automatically off the bat, you put me in that situation. You're not even trying to see me as a good guy. You're not trying to see nothing that I ever did as good. All you know is, oh, you the villain now. You the villain because the last person I've seen that looked like you was a villain. So now you living up to that part as well. That's the same reason why I always tell brothers that sometimes the way you look, a cop will stop you according to that. The way you look, you walk around, your pants are sagging, you got oversized clothes on. Now he starts wondering, why you got an oversized jacket on? When a cop can look at you and tell if you carrying on one side. He knows what he's looking at. But now when you put that big coat on, he don't know what he's looking at. We saw a scenario out here, Jamel Guard and myself, I think it might have been out here, where a brother comes through on a bike. And the cop stopped him. So we asked the cop, why do you stop people on a bike? And he told us, we stop certain ages on the bike. If you between a certain age and you ride on a bike, then we stop you because people are doing a lot of drive-by shootings and stabbings on bikes. They're right behind a bike and slashing with a razor, so they were stopping people on bikes. But what we see is, we stop the kid on the bike when they stop. Now, what they really hoping for is that when I stop you, you got some noise. And the first question they ask you got any warrants? No, I ain't got any warrants. And if you really felt, if you ask me and I tell you, then why you running my ID now? So that's the first thing that they think that, okay, no, you may not have done that today, but if I'm lucky, I got you on something you did before. Something you did before. And that's what they call cleaning up the streets. When they get lucky. When
they did what?
They justified
It's
it.
very rare.
Sidewalk. Sidewalk for years.
Brownsville has the most projects per city block than any other place in America. Part of the Willie Lynch theory, the training of Willie Lynch, is the process and documentation. So what they did was they put these projects and they put black people in these projects. Now most of these projects are training programs, right? For cops that come from Nassau, Suffolk County, never had any interaction with black people, right? So to keep the fear, right, of the people in the project at a level where they will stay indoctrinated, they send people that they know will shoot, maim, hurt, handcuff, drag, and beat the hell out of any other person that they come in contact with. So what happens is that they continue to plant the cycle of fear. The reason why people in the community don't, you can have a rally and it's like 8 people there, and 5 people came to speak, and other 3 people just happen to be walking by, is because they have been so put to sleep by the computer age. They've been so put to sleep by their PlayStation, the television, their phones, everything else, that they don't even have the ability to access the information that they're in danger. So what has to happen, right, is that some cataclysmic, right, has to spark, right, like today's born, right? So in order for something to be born, like Jamel God always says, something got to be. So it got to be something crazy. It got to be something that somebody does in the name of something else to get people to wake up and come outside. Because what happens is, a lot of times, is that people come out and say, well, that's not my baby. That's not my baby. Oh, that kid, oh, I saw that kid, son of drunk the other day. That's not my kid. So they already make a disconnection, right? Based on some other theories that they learn. Because of religion, based on their economic status, based on their language, right? So what happens is that the Willie Lynch factor continues to propagate itself in ghetto communities like that. Because what it does is that it ostracizes one person against another. You understand? Like the God said, you're not my sister, you know, because you doing something else. My job is to teach civilization every single day. It's my job. Your job is to go out and do whatever it is that you do. You don't do what I do. Elijah Muhammad said that at some point there'll be no need for temple and for churches and for mosques and all that stuff, because man will finally be able to access the God in him, right? If he just can't continue to teach, right? Continue to do what we're doing, right? And just continue in the way that we continue, then we doing our job. But the only way that stuff is going to stop is if something happens. Because people got to be slapped into a way. You know, and that's how it works. That's how it works. You got to, oh my God, we got to march down the precinct. We got to get up these picket signs. Don't do this, not my neighborhood, not my neighborhood. And then what it'll do is it'll force the councilman, it'll force the head of the different police departments to start taking a look at how to better serve the community. Right. And that's why in places like you talk about Chicago and LA and places like that, because there was such atrocities that was happening that it dictated to bring a group of people who didn't want to see this happen anymore, like Black Panther Party and Smith and Howard and Stokely Carmichael and Martin Luther King. Like the atmosphere dictated some people to get together and say enough. Right? To say enough. But until, right, either people wake up and get educated or until something catastrophic happens, right? They're gonna continue just snatching. Listen, my son, young boy, right? He's 22 years old, right? When I see him, his pants down around his ankle, got his hat cocked to the side, like a piece that. I said, and you wonder why you always call me from the precinct. Not to say that you gotta change who you are, but I mean, like, at least put on your pants. Put on your pants. Don't walk like that. Don't talk like that. You know, stick your chest out like that. Like, and if somebody comes to you, right, and you're able to communicate and relay an idea to them, they'll think twice about trying to do some kind of misfortune, right? That's been my experience. But if the police come up to you, you say, yo, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm just taking them up. Oh, we're taking them down. Right? He don't have no representation. He can just be a statistic. So, you know, we just gotta keep building.
One of the main parts is that we have to realize that within our club, there's no level of consciousness. And that's one of the things that he says, like, people in the 60s, from this era, what you gotta understand is, like, these different eras of these people, they didn't just spark a whole bunch of people at once. They sparked a small group of people wanting to make change, and more people wanting to get on board and act wrong, and act growing more. And with that, with the conditions of that era, which still exist in our people today, those guys were saying is right. There's more people without jobs, there's more, especially now in jail. I mean, the prison complex system is booming business, and that's what they need. They come to Brownsville now because they look and they say they're not looking at you just because you know they want to make the neighborhood safer, but that's an excuse that they use. The prison complex is a booming business. And what they do is they come into the communities and they say, you know what, your pants are low. Let me see your ID. Or you don't have ID, guess what? I get rewarded if I put you in jail today. And that's what they're doing. And unfortunately, because of so many years in this so-called incorporation to this so-called democratic system, it's in this so-called, okay, I make a vote and that counts, that's everything. Now, because of that, because so many years of us being force-fed that, especially from the radical 60s, what you gotta see is all of these different revolutionary movements that came from that, from the Black Panther Party, the Young Lord Party, the Young Patriots, the Brown Correct, so many different organizations that existed within that era, that what they do is they took them down strategically, and they took them down strategically, and they documents, and they have documents like COINTELPRO that say, yeah, we strategically went in there and we took them down. And the reason they did that is because they don't want the status rights to profit. It's because they profit from this exploitation. What we gotta realize is it doesn't say, it's not just about that, because you're right, it's about that time and that point where it will be a point where so many people are like, you know what, we can't take this, we gotta join something, and we gotta do something. But it does start with just that, just few people right here, just can be something that brings one more person, that brings one more person, that brings one more person, that eventually builds something larger. And that's what it takes, because it's not just gonna be the system itself that looks on itself as a system that needs to change. It's gonna be the people who are used by that system that say, no, it has to change. And that's the only way that we can get that.
Picks up all your voice over here.
But you see, we actually entered into something in the sky of time because support of mathematics. I think we should know about I was trying to feel out. I know something false about this. I really have to feel out. I was trying to get a little gist of what's going on. Just looking at the hook up there. What's your name, sister?
Sasha.
Is it?
Sasha.
Sasha.
Yeah.
Well, you're part of the group that's organizing. there's a biblical saying, judge not, so you will not be judged. Sounds good. I say it and I listen to it. The knowledge wisdom I express it with. Capacity of understanding I try to see through. The reason I'm pausing is because I'm trying to allow myself to be an advocate. Some of the things I've learned from my experience here in this life. See, I've been blessed. I've been blessed. I said it to my brother Hashidi yesterday. I've been blessed. Highly gifted. I've been blessed. Highly gifted. Say this to you young. How old are you? In our numbers, that's not high. You know that? You know that? You've heard that before? 15 is knowledge power. Bless you for that. How old are you? 14. If you ever hear that was knowledge culture, we heard it today. The first time, we're interconnected. It's your first time hearing that? That's you. What's your name? 18. That's knowledge build and destroy. Knowledge build and destroy. You might hear somebody say knowledge build or destroy, but that's correct. Knowledge build and destroy. Right? Now, have you heard that before? Good. Okay. So I say that to come to this. In my experience, I'm 57. I'm older than the sun, moon, and stars. Older than water and dirt. But mathematically, through the equation of time and space, I'm 57. That's power, God. Okay. So I got y'all. Y'all right here, just go, I got you. Got y'all, because my experience, my strength, and my hope is you're capable of comprehension. Like me, you might be blessed. Like the old timers used to say, something to walk down the road. You ever heard that before? I'm gonna give you something to walk down the road with. Which one of y'all can tell me what that might be? When I say that, what you think? You got knowledge. See how knowledge build and destroy? Some bones sometimes. Now, in the reality of life, life is not so simplistic that it could be made black and white. It was never that simplistic. In terms of its simplicity to the order of it, but at the end of the day, I go to a place where they say it's a simple program for complicated people. In other words, life has always been a simplistic thing, but the people who go through life complicate it. Life is not complicated. It's the people who are supposed to be going through the process of life that complicate life. That's why we got all the stress and the strife and the this and the that. Or the road you take and what you take up to the road, right? Complicates life. But what's up? The road you take and what you take with you. So what you're saying about it's the word, the choices you make. Yes. Well, that's why God gave all living things free choice, especially man. Free choice. We will all have that. Free choice. The choice to choose for self. Now, getting into this thing here with the community. Yeah, things with the community. Y'all got, bear with me, because like I said, I'm trying to open myself up to be a tool. I've always said that for myself. I want to be an instrument. The greatest instrument I know to be is unto Allah. I want to be an instrument that my Father, whose proper name is Allah, can use for a decisive moment in space and time. Now, the black and white issue, the cut dry thing. See, the white man is not my problem. Listen to what I'm saying. The white man is not my problem. When I say that to say this. Some awesome not great. If I can, in one breath, say that there's a maker and an owner to all things in life, and in my hearts of hearts, I can hold fast and say it was not the white man, and I know where everything got to come home to. I know where everything got to come back. Y'all comprehend what I'm saying? In other words, I can't blame a creation for what the Creator created. You understand what I'm coming from? You really. In other words, if the white man was created to do a job, and he's doing his job, irregardless of who or what, then what blame can I put on the white man? I come back home. Allah said everything got to come back to the what? To the knowledge. You got to come back home. You can't leave it. You can't just throw it out there like that. This is why God, and God is only, see, because if you say God, my brothers, these are things I've learned from my life. God, brothers, you say God of what? God of what? What you got of? Oh, I'm God. What earth? What have you done on the earth to make you God of earth? See, now you take God and you spin it around and spells what? What God spins around? Say it again. So God ain't all that high and mighty when you spin it around like that, is it? Now, if you put good order directly on God, you talking a different talk. When you say Allah, you say arm, leg, arm, and head. Oh, that's a different kind of melody. Yeah, we can work with that, and that's what I just did with these young brothers. I didn't build with them. I just taught them something. The one that didn't know, I gave him something. The ones that didn't know, I kind of like, for what I like to say, gave them a little more experience, strength, and hope onto what they already had. So at the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is this. It's hard for us as the family of Allah to know and understand that we are not here to try to create an atmosphere of discourse. And I know that the discourse was already put in process way before we got here as a what? Family. Yaqub created the discourse when he was just a little child. The discourse was in his head. See, you got to bring everything back home. You got to come home. You can't, it all begins and ends here. important. Because even the crookedest and the criminalist of the criminals call on the police when they ain't getting, like the brother said, of the police. Brother told me one time, make sure you don't call the police unless you're prepared to get some misery and some suffering. Because at the end of the day, they ain't there to get the wrong Jews. Heard my brother Father Bouchard sharing about the capacity or incapacity of the police to be humane. Put it that way. To be to try to have a little more heart. That's not how you train police. Not when it comes to policing. Now, the issue is this. Why is the police so permeated or so held fast in the communities of so-called, I say so-called, I'm not anti-white nor am I pro-black, so I say so-called because, why does it come back to you youngsters? Because this is who I care about. See, these people, they old as dirt. So my concern now, so we done been through a lot together. And by God's will, we got a whole lot more to do. But right now, they ain't got what they got. I'm not too concerned. You got it. You. Excuse me. What's your problem with black suit? Now, what's your problem? I want to tell you. Come on. You obey. You can speak your mind. Speak from your heart. One thing about you youngsters is that you're just the truth. You have a pure in your heart. See, it's through y'all that Allah was able to show himself. Just as one said, Allah took children, made them men. And he will. So I ask you here, what's your reason? Got it? What about you? That's the way what? They are. So mainly the way it goes. What about you? What about you? So at the end of the day, we can say that a lot of us gravitate to what you said. You want to do your job. Okay. It's a hell of a job. Have you ever thought about being a phone? Why? 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 So, what about you? Why? You don't like the job? It's not what you ever thought about it. Have you ever thought about it? No? About you? No? So, bring it back home. Bring it back home. You leave it?
Yeah, but I got to talk.
Right? Bring it back home. Bring it back home. See, because of that fact, there's a larger percentage of the people that come into the communities of color, the police, are people other than our own kind. And I'm not saying this in places, or to try to divide, or just give you an accurate fact. Now, brother spoke earlier about the negative frame of mind that's put into people. Before they get into our communities, they have already been given a is it right to say preconception? Is that the right word? They've been given a preconception of a mental picture of what to expect. And a lot of times this is young white kids coming out of Boondock somewhere, or Westbury number 30, or Somerville. service. In their communities, they don't have the kind of problems or issues, I should not problem, issues that exist within the so-called, community. Now, where does the problem come from? Okay, we can say that the problem comes, like everybody like to blame the Caucasian. That's the scapegoat. Years ago, we used to call him the skunk of the planet. But somebody came along with a little more sensibility, and a little more refinement, and say, no, we got to stop calling him skunk, because you call him a skunk and turn around and call yourself the maker and the owner. What that made for you? Huh? What did it make you? See, so now reality starts to set in. One of the reasons we never became locked in with the Black Panther Party or any of the more militant groups of the 60s was because we was taught that we weren't supposed to pick up no guns and do what we was getting ready to do. What we was getting ready to do, we had to do the true core of our teaching taught the young brothers that are now turned to, that in order to defend themselves, they had to learn the art of karate. That was the law. Wasn't no punks among us. We didn't say that you didn't have the right to defend yourselves, but we just wasn't going to do it with the gun. Because the gun was an instrument that was construed and belonged to another group of what? People. One piece got magnetic and the other does what? Now, Allah taught us that if the truth don't stop them, nothing will. If the truth don't stop them, nothing will. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get to is that we have to get a real good grounded recognition of what it is we're dealing with. We can't afford to come to this day and time. What year is this? What year is this? Wisdom and disciple. Knowledge, knowledge. Now, see, a lot of people don't talk about the full run of the thing. A lot of people like to get bogged down in the 400 ideas of times that the brother left already, but he spoke about the Willie Lynch issue. Willie Lynch issue got drawn up back in the days of what time? What time? No, before that, back in the slavery days. 1555 or 1555. Okay. So the beauty of this thing is, a lot of people get bogged down in that era, in that space, in that time, but a lot of us seem to either forgot or misconstrued the days and time of Yaqub. You ever heard the name Yaqub? You heard the name Allah, right? You never heard the name Yaqub. You ever heard the name Yaqub? You? Do your once and twice when you tell your younger brothers who Yaqub was. Do your own, you ain't got to get to know wrong. But whatever you heard that you could construe. But what did you hear? Did you ever hear anything saying like he was the father of a group of people, or that he made his group of people? None. So, okay, this is where I'm going with all this. See, huh? Yeah. It's at this point. It's at this point. See, one group of people, we want to divide the people. Let's look at it this way. Right? One group of people was made blind, deaf, and dumb. One group. The other group of people was made weak, wicked. Now, which group of people was made blind, deaf, and dumb? If I threw that at you and asked you that question, there are two groups of people. I said one group of people made blind, deaf, and dumb. Which would you choose? Through what you know of people, generalization of people. Huh? Who? Colored people. By colored people, who you say? Well, the one time they used to call a colored man, back in Martin in them days, colored man meant what? So is that who you're talking about? You're not talking about the Caucasian. Oh, so you call black people colored man? No, don't laugh at him, God.
Your response.
Don't laugh at him. This is everything for what? Real. It's the born day. Some born, some got what? Pray. His degree is now is what? Build and destroy. Don't laugh at him. Nothing funny. Everything for what? I'm not saying that to chastise you, God. I'm just bringing this back to reality.
Young God,
You said
We laughing.
I'm laughing at you, God. At your response.
it's all right, God. I know you wasn't laughing at him.
I want to let
But I'm just trying to show you, you know what I'm saying? We laugh later. Right now, we everything real. You tend to call black people colored. Feel free, brother. Everybody you know. You for real, man. I love the way you answer, man. You just and true, man. Be free with yourself. Why was you fighting? See, when you said color, I thought you meant the white man. You didn't mean it. Have you ever married our lessons? You ever studied our lessons? Huh? You ever studied the student enrollment? The 1 to 10 people? Where one question asks you for original man, and the other one asks you for color man. So you wasn't born there when you said the color man, and you was trying to say the white man. Huh? But in your heart, when I said blind, deaf, and dumb, you meant the black man. Okay. Weak and wicked. Who was that? Go. One group was made blind, deaf, and dumb. The other group was made weak and wicked.
You want to tell them why you don't consider black people colored?
Why what?
You don't consider black people colored.
Do I consider black people colored?
I said, would you like to explain to the young God?
Oh, well, bottom line, he said he had a little experience with the student enrollment. Right? He said that, but now I can give you my experience strength. The original black man is, can you still remember that lesson? No, you couldn't quote it. And who's the original man? You remember anything about it? The original man is the original black man. Original Asian black man. Asian black man. Because black man, when you say Asian black man, you're grounded. We not colored because we original. We original. Original means origin, first, alpha, without omega, beginning, without end. That's original. Right? Colored man, what is that? Who's the colored man? Okay, white man, not who? Oh, the black man. He was made by one of our own, one of our brothers. One that comes from us. That's why
Nothing for
they are so involved in what they do. Because it was taught by the best. Yaqub, that name that I spoke of earlier, which you all really don't hear too much, whether it's from us or from the world at large, was a scientist, an original black man who took time and space and created something that was unlike his own people. Why do you think it's not so simple as black and white? These are people who were made by us. Well, when I say us, I don't really mean us, because I didn't make no devil. But I can look into the history of my people and know that one of my brothers, just like some of my brothers do some shifty stuff out there in the streets. They my brothers, I love them. But I'm not doing that stuff out there. The same kind of concept of Yahoo. Yahoo did what he thought was right. At his day and his time. And this is our day and this is our time. Yahoo separated the genes. See, in the black man body there's two genes, one black, one black. That goes back to, you know, damn, who we gonna blame? You wanna play the blaming game on who's suffering and who's right and who's wrong. Who you point the finger at? Because at the end of the day, somebody got to stand on the square. And who gonna stand on the square? The only one who can stand on the square this day time is Allah. God. Well, remember I told you about God lay on hand. That's the power. That's the glory. God without good order and direction might as well be a dog. Might as well be a dog. Because a lot of brothers is proving it today. Now them calling themselves God, but they got no good or they got no restaurant. And as a direct result of that, they got the people in a state of mind right now where the reason things are so twisted and backwards and deformed and man, I ain't blaming nobody but myself. I ain't gonna blame nobody but myself. I'll self Lord and Master. Because I know there was a day and time when I turned away from the right thing to do. You listen to me? You agree? I turned away from the right thing. My father had intended bigger and better things for me as an individual, as a man. Never mind God. As a man, he intended bigger things for me. But because of my inability to perceive the reality of what was being given to me, I went astray. I went astray. And because of me going astray, a whole lot of things happened. One of the things that happened was that those that was coming up behind me was misdirected, misguided, and misled. And this propagated itself for a number of years till we reach, what year is this? Here we are. Here we are. Little brothers. With little brothers. Taking scissors. And having the capacity and ability to put, what kind of tape was it from Charlie put on? Duct tape. Duct tape on the handle to get a better grip. And stab another young brother in the neck. You see what day and time this is? Now it's built and destroyed. Do you see what day and time this is? It's come to the point where y'all can't allow this to go on no more. Not so much. See, we old, man. Look at us, man.
I'm not old, God.
God, you're supposed to be older than the sun, moon, and star.
I'm not old, God.
You're not older than the sun, moon, and star?
Yes, I am.
So what you talking about?
Even that is just a
It
drop.
doesn't make me old. It doesn't make me old. It does not make me old.
What you got to think about
It does not
that.
make me old. You know, like, what I wanted to get at you on is like the God,
I'll come back when you
about
color. You know, about color. That's real, that hit home to me. I don't see black people as being colored. People are colored. I don't see black people as being colored. My lessons teach you who's the original man. The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the queen of the planet Earth, father of civilization, and God of the universe. Now, like Jamel was saying, original is the origin of all. So that means that everything and everybody comes from me on this planet. Feel me? Okay, cool. Now, when we go to the colored man, we're going to say colored man, who's the colored man? Colored man is the Caucasian white man. He, Yakub, grabbed the devil on the planet Earth. Remember we spoke about Yakub? Yakub being the father of the devil. He brought the devil on this planet. You feel me now? You still with me, right? Now, when we say colored, you got to look at the Caucasian white man. Look at the white man. Look at him really good. When they get cold, what color they turn? When they get harmed, hurt, injured, what color do they turn? Blue, green, purple. So we're going to seriously look at that again and say, who's the color man? Color man. Who is the color man? You feel me, young God? So I would not again say, never would I say the black man is colored, because they try to take that and use it against us. You know, to have us sit over here thinking we're different from each other. That's what they're trying to use. But we wiser. You know what I'm saying? We know that everything and everybody comes from us. They come from us. We are the original people on the planet. So you got me on that one? Who's the color man? Peace, man.
When you look at the word, first I want to tell you this. Anytime somebody tells you something, think about it, remember it, and go home and look it up. Don't take anything on face value. Right? When we deal with the word color, man, when you look at the word color, man, when you look it up in the dictionary, what you're going to find is the only word part of that word is the ED. They're going to give you an example in that definition of seeded. When you see the apple, that means you're taking all the seeds out of the apple. When you pit an apple or a fruit, that means you're taking the chips out of the apple. When we say this is the colored man, that's because he's been made void of all complexion. He's been, certain things about his characteristics that's been taken out of him. This is why when we look at the degree, who is the colored man, tell me he's the white man. Because all the color and complexion has been taken out of him. This is why we call him the colored man. And we use another term as well as you need to look up. The term Yakub. Y-A-C-U-B. You can look that up in the dictionary, you can look that up in the encyclopedia, and at Knowledge Bill, you probably use a computer, don't you? You can get information from there too. But same thing, anytime somebody tells you something, look it up. Do a cross-reference. Just don't take what you see on the computer or what somebody tells you as gospel. The body has this little mechanism in it where when it hears the truth, it recognizes it automatically. But when it hears a lie, it has become discombobulated. It can't function correctly because it knows that something that I'm hearing isn't right. It's called cognitive dissonance, where your mind hears something and your body isn't accepting it because it knows that that's not correct. So anytime you hear something, anytime you read something, if it doesn't sit right with your Bible, keep searching. Keep looking until you find something that says, yeah, this is it. This is it. Because the reality of it is that we are born with the knowledge that we're special. We're born with that knowledge that something about me stands out way above the rest. But people try to dumb us down and make you think, oh, you're just like everybody else. When you're not like everybody else, you have a characteristic, each one of y'all, that's unique to you and you alone. Now, when you bring that to the table, this is why we say the law is man. Because each one of us has something different about us. And when we bring that to the table, we have everything that's been created in existence. It all exists within inside us. So anytime, especially when you come amongst the nation of God's earth, when you hear something, think about it, reflect on it in your own head. You said something earlier, you said, God asked you a question, you said you wasn't sure. That's the first part of the truth. You understand, I'm not sure about this. But the second part is when we go get books. We start trying to find these things out. When I first got knowledge myself, I was only 12 years old. the black man God, the white man is the devil. That, some of it fascinated me, but some of it I had a hard time understanding. Us being God, how can that be? Then I started looking into, okay, who was the first people on the planet? Even Christians and Christianity will tell you that God made man in his own image and likeness. If this is true, then the first man on the planet must have been made in the image of that God. Of that God. Now, when you look up the word covenant and you look up the word Yaakov, you're going to start to see where these people actually came from. Now, when you start to see where they came from, you start to understand more about who you are. Because these are the same people who will tell you that you have no value. And the only reason for telling you you have no value is so that you will reflect that. You start saying, okay, I'm good enough. So at this point, you start to see your part as, okay, we have no value. That means you have no value, I have no value. So I can do something like take a scissor, wrap it up, and stab you in the neck. Because I understand value in you. But when I see God in you, when I see God in you, I understand the value in you. I understand the value in you. I understand the value in you. Now we start to unify on this value. Why? Because we're an important people. And we weren't just put here to be slaves to any man. To be any man. Which is why they had to force us to be slaves. We already knew what we were meant for. So anytime you hear something, always go home and don't be scared to break up on the board. A lot of our children this day and time, they're scared to be smart. They're scared to be smart. And I'm going to tell you right now, people love smart people. Women love smart men. Men love smart women. We do not like ignorance. To a point where, oh man, I don't want to be around. Why are you doing stupid things? So we start to distance ourselves from that. That starts to show our intelligence. That means that, okay, I'm not trying to be like you. I'm not trying to be like you. Now, you said something that was interesting. You want to be a fireman. A fireman. Firemen are the one civil service job that I have the most respect for. Because it's a prejudiced job. They're not going to let a brother just get on that job. But once you're on that job, now you become one of their brothers. Because you have the heart to go up in the building and save a person regardless of his color. You don't care what his color is. Your main purpose, I'm bringing you out. Yeah, I don't like black people, but I love running into a fire and saving a person. So when you say you want to be a fireman, that's a job that takes a lot of heart. A lot of heart. When I hear a siren, when I see a police, my heart may jump. But when I hear a fire engine, no, move out the way. Move out the way, because they trying to get to somebody to save them. That cop, maybe trying to get to somebody to kill them. But that fireman, his only goal is to run up in the building and save somebody. So that's unique, even to think at 18 that this is something you might want to do. Because the reality of it is, what you're thinking about doing is risking your life for other people. There's not many people in this world that do that. So that's a unique thought in itself. Hey.
I was thinking, he made a statement. I don't think it was, you made mine, don't make it. Okay, who are we talking about? We were made that way?
I'm not talking about.
Okay, we were made that way? I'm asking that question, what we made that way? I don't know if we were made that way, because Father Sean is, and this so happens that he said something while he was speaking that contradicted what you said. He said when we were born, we already knew we were born, but people try to down us. That's what I'm saying, we say that blankly around this nation, but I don't agree with it because I don't think that.
I didn't always agree with it.
Right, exactly.
You never agree.
Well, the thing about it is,
Never agree.
it's a statement that we say that we're loosening amongst each other.
What, our people made one.
But it don't we were babies. We say that.
That's still one group of people, all that's still one group of people.
Exactly, we were referring to us as black people.
And to my understanding of how black people in this wilderness and all propagated themselves from the time when one group of people was weak and wicked, brought the concept of that idea and that process. But I know for a fact that the teachers say that they were processed. It was processed. It took a time for the black man, or the so-called black man who came from the East, to be made into what he was made to be. It just didn't happen.
He became. That's why I was saying.
It just didn't happen.
He became.
It was a process.
I know a process, but the difference between the word made and
It's semantics, but
I'm just
again,
saying,
sis, we never agreed, so that's peace.
No, not that we
No,
know.
there's peace with that.
No, I'm
Disagreement.
just discussing. It's not a debate.
Sis, listen to me.
Let me finish. Let me finish. I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking. I'm just saying to do that because I wanted to, but I didn't. I'm saying this. I'm just saying that because you made it. What it is, you connected the dots between. You said Yahoo was the white man's he was made by Yahoo was made, and then you use the second part. We were made, and so I don't want nobody. The devil was made, but the black man in this. As we are now, we were not made. We have become, is what I'm trying to show you. That's why I'm using that point, because we were who we were, our origin of our original selves, we might have became something different of what our origin was. And a lot of us don't know. It's 85%, we walk around, we don't know. But once we come knowledge of that, we are back into our original thought pattern. We are not, we have become. So that's why I was listening to you. And I'm not saying this, only because the reason why I'm doing this is we are dealing with the young. And when you deal with them, you deal with a lot of new age information out there. There's a lot of new age information.
Early in my process of what I was saying, what I do, I made it very clear that life is very simple. But it's complicated people in life make life complicated. You know what I'm saying? So now we won't. Go ahead.
When you say blind different dove, that means we were born in birth, and at birth we were blind different dove.
Yeah.
That's it. We were blind different dove. We were made every, what? No? Why not?
I'm sorry. Blind
Blind
is the person that refuses to see.
Right.
When you
The
get a
deaf
dog or
person
something,
is one who refuses to hear. And a dumb man will know it if he can speak. And babies, we are born down there to learn. We born with the ability to absorb. We born science. Babies experience everything. So we born to absorb now. But we are fed the wrong now a lot of times.
What I believe Jamela was saying, don't was basing on what Jamela
I
said.
was
What you said.
It's not worried
No,
about
I said what I said.
it.
I said what I said. As far as being made blind and dumb, being made blind and dumb, this is when it was an indoctrination period. This is when people were teaching. They were teaching the black man this way. You have no word. You had no word. This is hard. These are the lessons that you had to learn every day. Waking up in the morning, this was instilled into you. You have no worth. You have no worth. You are not a king. You are not a queen. You have no worth. This is how, when it said, when it stated, we were made blind, deaf, and dumb. You know, because this takes away the vision from who you really are. You no longer see yourself. You no longer hear your brothers and sisters, and you no longer know who you are. So that made a person blind, deaf, and dumb. But as far as actually being born, no.
Yeah, I just walk behind.
you agree that a lot of the issues they're not new? Exist as a direct result of a lot of the so-called politicians, as elected over a period of time. You put any blame on some of these so-called politicians. Not all of them, but a great majority of them.
Well, actually, what I wanted to say was, the politicians are a part of that system, that is a part of like this whole profit system. It's like this class people, super rich class, this a class of white people, and they want to have these politicians in this whole elected democratic system. But they say, okay, you elect someone to represent you, then that's your only way to express yourself. But as far as organization or anything like that, you won't be able to actually change anything. What you want to do is have someone to elect you. And then it's true, the politicians are a large part of the problem, because in fact, they don't want to come from, two, they just select anyone they can and just say, all right, look, as long as you look like them, just go out there and just say you with them and you represent them. But the reality is that they don't want to fix them because these things that happen in our community are not by accident, they're not by mistake, they are purposely done. And they have something largely to do with that. They have something largely to do with that, and that's just it's a systematic activity. So again, we're gonna have our meeting at the Central Government at 12 o'clock on Saturday. So if anyone's able to make it, that would be great. I would love to see you out there. And again, I had an excellent time talking to you all.
Hey, please.
I'm ready, man. I'm going back. Please.
So let me you all get anything about what we just said? Remember we said something, go down the road. Now, the tower is
Also true. So Uncle True, are you? Whatever she said.
I know you said.
I just gave it to her bag.
How you doing, my brother? He's got good. And I cook food. Very good to see you.
You still eat good food?
Yeah, for the symbols. Like any correction or anything, get the markers.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it be corrected. No, I like it too.
They messed up. Got me a printer.
I pretty got my computer up and going again. So I'm really going to do this, looking at this outside. Yeah.
Well, Chuck, we'll have enough time to see what we is. You spoke about it?
No,
What more have you got? You need to tell me the whole thing before you come at
Stop.
You did?
Oh,
That'll be, that'll be, you talking about? Yeah, that's what, right?
yeah, I mean, lot of people have a lot of things to say. And they were pointing fingers and they were accusing people. So the next meeting, all the people that were pointing the fingers are going to be put on the spot. And you were one of them in 2 weeks. Oh, it wasn't a comic book, man. Nobody says it's a comic book, man. And the nation called nurse. We always want to stand on the outside and look. We don't even want to come in. It could be a free event. It could be great. So that's what turns out yesterday. They realized that the work that's been going on, the brothers that were doing it, that were just doing it, and they wasn't doing it the way they wanted it, right? So they started God. They were accusing us of stealing. And one brother actually said that. Y'all need to justify, stop her, I'm not gonna say it again. Y'all need to justify the stealing. He done said this 3 times. This brother cannot come in this room and say, we gotta justify stealing, and not say who's been stealing and what they've been stealing. You plant a thought into this cipher that don't need to be there. Now, I'm curious to know, who sent you in here with this? We deal with a matter. We done got past the point of stealing, but you keep throwing that into the atmosphere. Well, if somebody's stealing, we need to know. Hold on, God. We done got past the point of stealing. Matter of fact, we are dealt with the only 2 people that raises money in this location. Now, we done told y'all what we have. You're satisfied with that, but yet still, this brother keeps saying something about stealing. So what are we trying to say here? And it turns out what was going on. What was going on was a takeover, a hostile takeover. They want to take over law school in Mecca. They don't want to do no work to get it. They just want to take it. They just want to take it. Ain't no mystery, God.
Can we cut the tape?
That sounds right. You gonna hear it over there too? You wanna see my little lips moving? I wanna see your lips moving. Oh yeah, I'm radar right now. The heaviest gas. I'm gonna put it like this. A team got together. Alright? We got kicked out of Harry Tubman.
Listen, I don't know already, but this
I'm gonna give everything. We got kicked out of Harry Tubman.
It's not me.
A lot of, some of the guards, me one of them, guards came to me and said, God, we need to go over there and talk to these people, see what we need to do to get back in Harry Tubman. And I said, God, I can't do that. I don't beg for anything. I don't beg, God. That we at a point where y'all want to beg to get back in there. They kicked us out. They kicked us out. Now, what God told me was, we had 40 some odd years of history in that school, God. We just can't let it go like that. And I said, we have 379 years of history in slavery. Do you want to go there? So why y'all keep trying to go back? Why y'all keep trying to go back into this? So, the team of guards, young guards, Zig Hill, Black Sun, Sahin, Amar, and one older brother, Hakeem, went into Harry Tubman. And they negotiated a deal with Harry Tubman, where they wanted tables for the one that we burned. These guards came out shining. They gave them 3 tables. You want 1, we're going to give you 3. What else you want? You want rubs? They worked it out to get those rubs. So they got us back in Harry Tubman. So now, with them getting us back in Harry Tubman, they started to enforce rules on the rally. They have every right to do this. Y'all got us back in there. So one of the rules they enforced was the vendors. Okay, we're going to charge the vendors $25 to come in. If you want to use our tables, we're going to charge you $10 to come in. You got to show us your government name when you come through the door. You got to sign up, you got to register to sell that rally. Y'all went in there and got rally that force. I can't argue with none of that. Why? Because I wasn't doing anything. So if I want to come back into the rally, I got to adhere to the laws and things. We ain't got no problem with that. But then they want to go a little bit further. Okay, What kind of money being made up here? Who makes the money? What y'all do with the money? You take 50% of what you make, you take 50% of what you make. I have a little problem when a man tells me he's taking something. Hold on, I live by the first agreement suit and roll. I'm the original man, I'm the maker. So what I do is I make things. When I see my family, my nation needs money, I'm gonna come up with ideas. So let's put this into effect. And I always tell the nation, God, and earth, and all society, if you keep coming out your pocket and you in the group, then you in the wrong group. Y'all should be able to come up with ideas when you raise money to do these things. Now, what they're gonna do is, we had to concede to rally to them. Now what they want to do is take over our youth center back too. So they came up there actually attempting to bully people. No, we're going to see the books with, now mind you, if you doing events, and I'm doing events, and you come to me and say, God, I want to see your books. I want to see yours. But they came up there with nothing. They didn't have no red light on, right? Yeah. Yeah. They didn't have no books. They didn't have a plan to make $1. What they had a plan to do was take it. So my thought is, hold on, I'm getting to the first degree student who is the original man. And since y'all taking this, y'all in the court to the second degree, who is the colored man. So we sitting there, we going through this now, we have to justify the things that we doing. We got to justify the money, what's being done with the money. We telling them what's being done with the money. They don't have a problem with that. They don't have a problem with none of that. So what they have to do is find a problem there. So the problem that they found was the treasurer is to keep the ledgers the way we want to see them. He comes in with 2 big bags, records. He got a book this thick of the bank transactions. All the bank reports. He got that, he got two bags of nothing but receipts of everything that we've been doing for the last 5 years. That's not enough for them. They said, now say, God, do you have a ledger? God, we got everything we need, and we gotta go into court, and we gotta go see the tax man, we got everything we need right here. No, God, then you ain't got no books. Do you have a ledger? No, then you ain't got no books. So they kept harping on that. So in harping on that, they decided that the board isn't functioning correctly. What we need to do is replace this board. Now my thought is, who are y'all to say that we need to replace this board? The oligarchs always tell us you cannot incorporate the nation of gods and earths. This is a fact. You cannot incorporate, there are no positions. If there's a non-for-profit organization, the nation of gods and earth does not govern that non-for-profit organization. If you govern that non-for-profit organization, then you are actually an entity with that corporation. Now you have incorporated the nation of gods and earth. You can't do that. But they want to come in and say, hold on, y'all got to show and prove to us what you've been doing. Why should I have to show and prove to you what I've been doing when you haven't been doing anything? You haven't been doing anything, but you will ask me to show and prove. Now, we got brothers coming up there, and they asking questions, and I'm looking at these brothers, who is that? So now I get with the guards or something on a daily basis, so who is that? Nobody knows. Nobody knows who this. The same one that kept doing the stealing in the site, the stealing in the site, misappropriation, y'all doing something with the money. And I point blank said, we see where your concerns are. The money. He said, yeah, son. Hold on. Son. Yeah, when I say that, all the God look around. Son. Yo, dude. God, I gotta stop speaking to you. You don't speak my language. My language is mathematics. You come in here with some slang. You come into a meeting with the nation of God and earth doing business using slang. No, that's inappropriate, brother. Speak my language. Apparently, you don't know it. And you keep throwing the stealing out into the cycle, which lets me know where your mind is. Your mind is on stealing because you steal, you assume the rest of us can't be right and exact. So you keep placing that same thing on us. Yes. So you keep putting that on us. Keep putting that on us. Yes. So yeah, when God said it was comical, but it wasn't funny, it was comical because it's a shame when you have now, the same brother got up to talk about the event that they do. I have a problem when the only fundraisers we can do are booty shakers when the world is dying. The world is dying, the only thing we can do is throw a dance. We gonna party while the rest of the world is dying. So I got a problem with that. There's many ways of raising money. I've been going with other groups. I see other groups. They're raising crazy money. They're raising crazy money, but this is the only way we can do it. So when they came in and started trying to accuse us, now, the sad part is each person started trying to defend themselves instead of defending the group. So I said, hold on. They asked me, if you're making the money, how come you don't know where the money at? I don't need to know where the money is at. Once I put a treasurer in place, that means I trust this man. I ain't got to keep going back. You got that? You got that? Then that means I don't trust him. He's in the wrong position. He's in the wrong position. So then they only resolved. Now mind you, the board was so solidified. Each time they asked somebody something about the money, see, understand it. See, understand it. We all saying the same thing. See, understand it.
That's what you said. I know that's what you said. I knew the names. When I know what you said, that's to me. I had a call somebody that said that's what they're supposed to be asking. Ain't that a part of yellow circle? So why they come to yours?
Oh, hold on there.
That's what I know.
Now this is what the board noticed.
I knew that. I said,
we're looking at separatists.
That person right there, he wanted the keys to the money, and so it's Simon too. He was down with the side of some of the money going on there at one point. Where's their money? Where their money at?
Now that's where they only the second meet. The first one, we legitimately had to justify everything that we've been doing. Okay, y'all call this meeting. We say we'll put this out to the nation. We're going to give you this information. But the next meeting, no, we want to see your voice. Now the tables are going to change. When you think you're going to run up in a law school and Butch kid gone, then they told me, no, we going to regulate things. So your concept is regulating God. You don't come to add on. You don't come to add on. You trying to take. You trying to take. They did not even bring an idea. They did not bring an idea to raise money. First thing they said, we take 50% from you, we take 50% from you.
Don't care where
This is what they
don't care where
do.
your money coming from. Whatever you make it, they want 50% of it.
Exactly.
That's not, see, Harold, let me tell you something how I see it. To me, see, and a lot of people don't see it, but when you get, when I first heard the concept of how to come get out, it's like in slavery. The man kick you off the plantation. When he kick you off the plantation and you get your freedom, why don't you run back to the plantation? You got your own way. Deal with that. I mean, different ways have come. Father Sean has some different ideas of how to do the water to the regular to go to school wasn't have that water. Everybody gonna agree with it, but that idea supersedes going back to the school and giving them all that money. You could be using that money. I mean, look at the churches. I've seen churches, little teeny in churches take little away and go a little around the church, whatever it is, and use it, and then 10 years later they got some big thing because they took their money and invested into their own. When you don't take your money and invest into your own, see, I come from where I was taught to invest in your own. Everybody ain't taught that. They taught that some people live in the house, some people live in the condo. Condos is, I ain't got to maintain it, somebody maintain it for me. House, you got to maintain it. Different thing. Not only that, your own car. You don't want to buy a bus, you don't want to buy a car. Buy a car. You got to maintain a car. Bus, you don't pay the fare, you move. Now, this is how your life is set up. Not to say that's what you want, but I'm just saying it's just showing analogies how you should work. You have a school ability to, that's a foundation that was put out there and given for a long time. And all people can do it for the most part, but I hear them criticize about a law school ain't this, a law school ain't that. A law school ain't because you ain't making it.
Right.
That's why it's that way. You constantly give money to the Board of Ed, and you know the Board of Ed is teaching our kids, you giving money to them. Come on, you want to go in, you so full of gold now, you went up there and made a deal with them, you got us back in law school, we supposed to feel good about that. I didn't feel good about that. When they kicked us out, I was like, yeah. Teach y'all a lesson now. Let's see what y'all do now. Pick up your bootstraps and get them home. No, you go back crying so you get your, because you've been there for a long time. Yeah, you've been there for a long time. You should have worked out a better conversation with them. But don't go back and give them anything. Because first of all, from what I understand, a lot of that school that is notoriety for the bars and earth. It just became everybody, all other nations would have it events there because they see it in you. Because other people were so they was going to go in there and make a deal. It should have came out not paying nothing. Especially for some stuff they didn't do. To me, it was just stupid. But now they're able to come in with this here money takeover. See, when we was having the Sean Poole meetings, see, some of those same people who names you was talking about, some of them was in those meetings, and the things they were saying, we don't need y'all money, we got our own money. This is what was said by Black Son. We have never asked y'all for nothing, but they came to the table trying to get y'all money. Come on, what do you want? What they want your money to do what? What they want your money to do?
As I told them.
No, what they want to do with your money? Like you said, they haven't really done anything. They done
What their goal is when they said they're taking, their main focus is, okay, now that we have it, how are we going to pay for it? So we're going to take money from here and here. And as I told them, I said, y'all, I commend what y'all did. Y'all went in there, you got us back in there, and as I keep telling them the same thing. You did something I could not do. I couldn't do that. I don't go down on my knees. So I have to commend y'all for the begging that you did. You were successful in that. But when you went to them and begged them to get back in there, but you gonna come take from the guards. You gonna come take what you want from the guards. And not only that, they plan on coming at all out profits. Yeah, I want to see records. I want to see what you're doing. And I heard it said specifically, not by this particular group, but they coming after desert guards. And my first idea is, hold on. I feel guilty every time I go to a desert rally. These brothers come out their pocket on their own to do this. And they don't ask for no help. They just do it. Now, when somebody say that their whole goal is self-appointed positions in the nation, this is why I said there are no positions in the nation of gods and earths, but their brain is so screwed up where they will say, we cannot incorporate the nation of gods and earths. Okay, that not-for-profit, I want to know what y'all doing. Come on. You just denied us. But now you want to know what it is that we doing, and now you want to benefit from it too. Now these are the same brothers who we used to try to get to make meetings, and they said, we don't do meetings. This is what they would always tell me, we don't do meetings. They didn't want to be bothered with a law school in Mecca. Now that it's $1 on the table, everybody like this still on, right? Yeah. Only reason why I do this is because I know these are brothers that I love. So now I can sleep all night being torn hit by this. I'm being assassinated by brothers who I say I love. But yet in reality, I know that you're not right exact. So now, do I continue to love you and you're not right exact? Or do I have to change the love that I have for you now? Because I see where your mind is at. And your mind is actually selfish. It's not for the nation. Y'all want what y'all want and you don't care about nothing else. And this is what they're doing. They're imposing their will on everybody, saying no, and under the disguise of we saved the rally. You didn't save nothing. They told me, if y'all have the money to pay for the rally, why y'all ain't been paying for the rally? Hold on, God. We never had a problem with paying for the rally. They said, what? Now these are the people that they brought with them. Hold on, which means y'all ain't never, then what's the problem? See, y'all thought the problem was money. The problem's never been money. So when they said we're taking 50 from you, 50 from you, God, first of all, you ain't taking nothing from me. I turned all my money over to the treasury. And I learned a trick a long time ago from a Caucasian. You deal with original people, drop a dollar on the table and back up. And watch what happens. Now, I'm sitting there in this meeting, and first thing came to my mind and said, pull a 50 out your pocket and say, look, somebody dropped a 50 on the floor. And see how many people in that room said, oh, I did. So you're lying right off the bat.
I did.
So that means you all about the money. And this is what they were showing me. That y'all ain't concerned about how we get that money. You never showed any concern about that. Only thing you're concerned about is getting your hands on it. Under the disguise of, we saved the rally. And now you want to take over the school. And now you tell me you're taking over a store that I offered to pay rent for. The guards had already decided that, look, you're the best one to deal with this. Because I worked my behind off for the last 10 years to show and prove that I'm worthy of this store. They were trying to give it to me. No, God, let me show and prove to you what I can do. So I came out here and got my own stores to let them know, look, I'm capable of this. So now when the guards come to me and tell me, look, man, you're the best one to deal with this. We want you to run the store. And I made the mistake of sitting down and telling somebody this. Now, yesterday you tell me, now I'm taking the store.
Yes, he did.
Store.
No.
Yeah.
Taking the pictures off
See,
the wall.
yeah, see your reaction?
Do we got keys to the store?
Yes.
Yes.
No, he made a move.
Cops.
He made a move because without my stipulation for me getting the store, you're cleaning it out. Take the pictures off the wall, let me put some racks up, put a new window in, a new light. So what he did was,
Now, we say
when he
store,
cleaned it out,
what you talking about?
next door seal off.
They've been trying to do
They
that.
push.
I go in the store. Now this is what really made me say something about the store. We already know CLR only makes a few dollars on them barrettes that he made. On those barrettes. So I walk in the store, I see everything cleared out, but I see the table with the barrettes folded up off to the side. Yo, God, what happened to the barrette? Yo, they shut it down. They shut down your only way of making money. Now, when they offered me the store, I made a little agreement. They wanted me to get rid of two things, CLR and the newspaper. Yeah. And the newspaper. And I said, we cannot get rid of the newspaper. That's our national headquarters. The newspaper needs to be based in there. I'm not getting rid of CLR because he done showed and proved that he can do this. So what I would do is create a store and put him to work. So what I told him is I do this. I would re-up the merchandise in the store all the time. I would make sure CLR gets a check every month. And I would make sure the nation gets the rent for the store. But that wasn't good enough for them. So now they're feeling, no, we're going to come up here and we're going to take everything. So the part that they don't know is that I'm going to fight this switch.
Yeah, but let me ask you, when this brother that said you got keys to the store, how you get?
It must.
My student, I don't know how you
No,
got it.
I know that copies.
Yes.
I know that copies.
So you know, I'm feeling my throat cut right now.
Everybody has keys to the store. I know that picture. Excuse me, you know that keys?
God, I always look at the bigger picture. Know what the bigger picture is for me? Each time I ask them for that store, and they tell me no, go somewhere else. And give me another store. So I told them, y'all keep denying me, I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna be rich. Because you're not gonna stop me. You are not capable of stopping me. No weapon shall prosper. So when y'all shut me down, say, no, we ain't giving you this store, okay? When they, yesterday, standing out there, my mind automatically started clicking. Don't stop me. I'm gonna show you that I'm more capable than you are. Yeah, these are brothers that profess love.
I have a set of keys. CLR got a set of keys, and a law got a set of keys. Okay, that's what I said, police and store.
Yeah.
Okay, now you know,
Well, anyway.
why you got a party of picture now?
Yes.
Okay, now you know, now you know.
A lot of people are a part of the team that said, no, Papa Sean should be the one that deal with it. Now, all the guards up there, I'm close with Cedar Kill. So they all assuming
You're on the same page?
they're putting in the store, I was Papa Sean to take over the store. So Al Jamar come to me, yo, we about ready to put our stuff in there? Nah, we don't do that. it's right. But while we were doing it, you weren't doing anything. When you left the chairmanship, you left and wouldn't come back. You didn't want to be bothered. And this is a repeat. This is the third time.
The war. That's what you know, you know. It's a war.
Oh, it's going to be a war.
It was a war. Because this is something that developed over the years. This has been building for a long time. And then for the opportunity to come in.
Cardio. Seize the day.
The money that understands or maybe part of that money was supposed to be paying for Parliament. Is that correct? Is that the picture?
We had it set up where I was paying for the rallies. I was paying for the rallies with the money that I was making on the property. I would do two things, make a donation to the nation, and I would pay for the rallies. But because of the way we were maintaining things, and the Jew decides that, look, I'm gonna let y'all on the property for $75. I had them at $125. So now I gotta drop the price in order to keep them. I dropped the price to $100. I still have to pay the security tip. So now I don't have enough money anymore to pay for the rallies. But they're still taking the money out of what we were giving them. So the money that was being paid for the rally was still coming from understanding. Because I will always work. I know the type of people that I'm dealing with, so I have to secure myself. So I get an understanding of it. I don't give it to nobody else. I trust him. I trust his books or the way he keeps his records. I know that if the nation come at me and say, Father Sean, wait a minute, no, understand, give him the receipts. He will pull, same thing he did yesterday, pull his big bag up, but this is all receipts right here.
You want to say what I said?
Yeah. The locks, virtuous, bro. Oh, not see, you speaking of loyalty, man. You speaking of loyalty.
They had you, see, I killed baby parents. When I see Simon coming, and black son coming, I see understanding. I see them I don't only see, see, some people jump around cross lines, depending on the situation. And that's what it looked like to me. If he, you know what I'm saying, it looked like to me, if we is a part of their conversation, if the books are part of their conversation, and they thought y'all wasn't handling the books properly, and they have a direct access to understanding on a basis even outside of Parliament, why do they ask him that?
But you gotta know somebody.
I'm just curious, why?
You would think exactly what she said is what they would do. Oh, we're close to you. Is everything okay? No. That would defeat our plan.
That's right.
Now it cuts us off where we don't need to do that. And we want to do that. The only thing they can catch us on was the ledger. You don't have every little detail.
Because they're supposed to maybe that one that turned possibly.
No, they had him on the spot. And he's trying to explain this to them, and they're like, no. And it was easy to see. They felt, okay, now we got a leg to stand on. You don't have legends.
This is what it's showing me. Understand what the world says to them. If y'all need money to do what y'all doing, we'll give you some money. And God says, don't need you, you know. See, and I thought that, see, them two, I know other entities, they do things, so it kind of threw me then.
Hold on. There's enough feeling about what I'm going through. Like you just said, most people pair B and C together. Because
I already know that. I only know because and that's it.
I always have.
But he's with them. I already know that. God's son, listen, I see the part of it. See, my thing is, some people, you know, building is one thing, y'all do that. If I build you, then I'm fighting with you. Why? I can't build you, but I know to with you. Come on. So that's why I see them there.
I see what you're saying.
Okay. I don't see you partying with them. They all partying there.
I don't build with them.
And you don't build with them because I don't see you. Exactly.
I always tell people,
But that's it.
I handpick the people that I work with. Because I want to know I know my success rate. But if I'm gonna build with you, you have to at least equal my success rate. If not, I'm bringing dead weight onto my cycle.
So what they're doing now is they have their, their group counselors. They want to go around and start, like they're overseeing the nation.
I won't say, no, I won't say they're trying to oversee the proceeding.
Well, they want to be in
You
charge
know
of
why?
money.
Because that would take work.
They want to take.
I don't see
They want to get it done.
It's what they have.
Who gonna be a board director under that?
They trying to get a house.
I'm gonna give them this too. They want the money, which is we should have did this a long time ago. They want the money so they can prepay for the rallies. So nobody else can come in there. We pay month by month, which means that somebody get in there in February before we do, they got the rally. So what they want to do is get a vast amount of money and pay for the rallies in advance, which is a great idea. But God come up with an idea to get that money as well. You want to take money from here, take money from there, be the original man and make an idea.
Suppose all of us, Sean, decides to leave some of that post, or maybe I know there's a school that the children say, because he has 3 stores outside that he got to work on. Who's going to do that?
God asked me a question, the same one that kept on stealing in the cipher. He said, so you took it upon yourself to create the business. The very business that you want the money for. The very business that you want the money for. This is what you said. None of us got called. Did you get called? How'd you find out?
I went to the school and sitting on the platform.
That's how I found out. My business is up there.
There's a certain group that's coming from a certain mindset, and the people who have other mindset, who can defeat that, what they're doing, are not there. And I think they know that. They have enough people who like me. I don't have a problem with conversation. I'm not going to sit there and go like this. I'm not doing it. I'm not sitting there going, I'm not doing it. I'm going to ask questions. And what's the problem here? What's the root problem? What do y'all do exactly?
We get into this moment where we all feel we have to show them. We have to show and prove to the nation what we're doing is right and exact. God, we can get so bogged down with showing and proving what we're doing is right and exact until we no longer doing anything. All we're doing is showing and
There's
proving
a
what
question
we're
all the
doing.
time when rallies is going on. Will they come and say that's ad, not ad, you got to add also rally? Will they come and put donations in?
No, what we waiting to see is if they can get there on time. First, that's the first step.
You already know that.
Let's see if you can get here on time. Let's see if you can be here every month.
No, 4 o'clock, they come to the door.
So when they tell us, we go, that was the exact word. We go,
Make sure.
that was it. That was the exact word. They planned and when they go closing, I want to see what they do. I want to see if they pick and choose. They're going to pick and choose certain things. Now, as I told the dog, we had a problem with that. Those were not willing to be searched. I don't remember seeing them there. They were there. So let's see if they can handle evidence. They have enough on their plate by taking on that rally and talking about making changes. You don't need to take on anything else. That's going to be a handful. Let's see if you can handle that. No, they can't. Which is why, when it was going on at the door, they weren't there. Because they couldn't handle it then. If they were able to handle it, they would have been there saying something.
Before beating the line fast enough for me? Yeah. No, he's a good brother, but he's not cut out that type of work.
I realize that
I mean,
they,
he's good because, he's going to teach. You understand? You know, he can teach.
most of us are good at that.
Yeah, but anything other than that,
Most of us have something else that we could now, they're good at throwing the event. Just like when I went to California with Alan God, he throws some excellent events. Some brothers are good at events. And I always say, well, let's go, let him know best step forward. That's what we're doing, we call an event. I'm looking at the person that throw the best event, such as Ramel. Ramel can sell a ticket to anybody about anything. So when I do an event, Ramel, do me a favor, God, sell these tickets. He called you that night, God, you got some more? I sold them all. Because he used the same method. So we should always use the same people for the same thing. So if they throw events, no, what we need y'all for, throw a dance, something that you're good at. You want to step into the arena of business, you don't know anything about that. You don't know anything. You know about the booty shaking. You know about that. Throw those type of events. Don't step into the arena of business for businessmen. Let the best know what you do. Give it back. Yes.
I was thinking you all my name on it. I got some more.
No.
Sit down, so he. You okay?
remember me?
She said, she always trying to say that.
In 2001, and for fiscal, so two Boston. Okay, a lot of team gone. She turned around to go wrong. How do you a lot of people
because they want to say that.
listen, you gotta understand one thing. Don't understand. Okay, see a law told black. Want to tell something? What do? You demobilize. You demobilize. You understand? Okay? One of those sisters I had her name is Queen. Everybody agreeing about that. There's not agreeing with women about that. There's not happening now. Ever since one of them. See, certain people take it.
Karima, stop.
As long as the person don't keep it, not the person don't matter. Because you got to listen to the man.
just wait on it. I can't argue with because you like, no.